Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for Jeremy's Pedal Power Hour, where we spend an hour of time, and I have an ad already popping up. That's insane. Wonderful, wonderful times. Where we spend an hour talking to special guests that I have on the show, where you guys run the show. That's right, you guys run the show. Ask questions, and like I said, you run the show. So you ask your questions, and I'll ask them. So tonight, I'm super pumped about my special guest on. I have Austin Bankert, who is the correct founder of CognativeMTB. Now, you guys, CognativeMTB is kind of a new company, newish out in the world right now. But thank you, dude, for coming on to my show, and it's a pleasure having you on here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, we already gotten some questions popping up. So, guys, get some questions out there for Austin about Cognitive, and I'm super excited to start them out. And we already got Steady Spin. Kevin's already asking questions. He's already on here, and he's probably going to run. He's going to run the whole show with his stank.
Kevin has been here when Cognitive was in this garage.
Wow. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen him wearing your gloves, and I'm quite disappointed. But well, starting off, before I get to everybody's questions as they come in, tell me about CognativeMTB and how it all started.
Yeah. So I'm out here in my garage because I have 3 kids and they're sleeping.
Of course, same here.
This is the best place for it because this is where it all started.
Mm-hmm.
I guess this December will be 3 years, and it was started as a really, really small side business. Very, very, very small. And even the first 12 months, I didn't invest a lot in it, didn't put a lot of money or time or effort. It was just really kind of cautious. The idea came from a couple different areas, but originally, if people have kind of followed us in the beginning, we started off with just designs about trail areas and kind of kept it local, right, which we're pretty fortunate to have some of the best places in our backyard
up in North Carolina, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're Western North Carolina, so Pisgah National Forest, DuPont State Forest, both of those are 15 miles from my house.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so if anybody's ever heard of the Landmark Company, they're actually about an hour south of here in Greenville, but they had started up this really big thing, having apparel kind of highlighting national forests and national parks. We're kind of the first one to really do that, and at the time I was kind of thinking, hey, wouldn't that be cool to do that, but instead of it being more of like just an outdoor theme, make it really centric to mountain biking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really where that was kind of probably one of the biggest inspirations. There were several about starting the brand, and really for the first year it was just branded apparel when it came to ride areas. There was nothing else.
Yeah.
So that's where it started. Very quickly on, kind of thinking about it and what the company purpose was going to be and the good we were going to do. And of course, we're talking about trail areas. So we quickly, realized that one of the most important things we could do is make it very central with the brand about getting involved with public land and trails and the volunteer organizations that maintain and take care of the trails, but also donating. So from day one, we've donated back from every sale to the trails. Something. We've kind of changed that structure recently, which maybe I'll talk about later.
Yeah.
So a big core of like our mission and vision is to not only give back, money, but time, effort, but also hopefully kind of educate others along the way about how important getting involved and just, advocating for our mountain bike trails and our public land in general. And, we hope, honestly, we kind of got a really big dream to hopefully, we kind of have something in place to start this, but it'll be a while, but hopefully, invite other companies to join us down the road on this vision we have, where it's not just something Cognitive does, but maybe it's something that a lot of the mountain bike apparel companies and even manufacturers in the U.S. do, where we all kind of work together to take care of our trail systems.
That's totally awesome. That's a really, really awesome thing, being able to push back. I'm getting some feedback. I'm hearing myself. I can hear myself in your speaker.
Oh, you mean turn you down a little bit?
Yeah,
Is
turn me
that
down a
what
little bit. Yeah, it's a really cool thing that you can, every dollar that comes in, you're giving back to the trail system. Now, is it a trail system that of your choice, or is it like local around you, or is it just Sorba, or what are you giving back into?
Yeah, great question. So for the first 2.5 years, it was pretty localized here. Friends of DuPont, Pisgah area Sorba, gave a little bit to Sorba, Maine,
Hmm.
and we also supported the Shenandoah Valley Bike Coalition up in Virginia.
Yeah.
This year, we've also sponsored more MTB, which is kind of like DC, Northern Virginia, Maryland. So that kind of segues into our new program, which is called 2% for the Trails.
Okay.
And we've restructured our entire giving back campaign. And part of that is we want to cast a wider net. The reality is the majority of our customers, close to 90%, are not in North Carolina.
Okay.
And so we realized that, we wanted to make sure that we were giving back to where, people that were supporting and investing us were coming from. And so we needed to change our structure. So our new structure is called 2% for the Trails. Honestly, we're still kind of working out some of those details and how that money is going to get divided. And I'll share something with you about that. But it's pretty simple. We donate 2% from our top line revenue, right off the top, 2%. And right now it's kind of going into a bucket. We still support our local trails here. We're very involved here. What we're working on right now is we have $2,500 earmarked, and we are working together to put a program where we're gonna give that to a trail system out west that's been badly impacted by the fires.
Yeah.
But we decided, hey, why don't we make this bigger? So I wish I could tell you exactly how it's going to happen, but we have to get some other companies on board. But long story short, we're hoping to put together kind of a Pimp My Ride Out package.
That's awesome.
$1,000 of, it could be a fork, it could be all kinds of stuff, where we'll be able to sell raffle tickets where folks can come to our website, purchase a virtual raffle ticket. Somebody's going to win all the free stuff, and we're going to take all of that money plus our $2,500, and we're going to donate that to the trail system out west.
That's awesome. That's totally cool.
So right now we're in the process, very early, but we just got a bunch of information last week of vetting the right trail system. Because what we don't want to do is we don't want to give $5,000 or $10,000 to a trail system that's got a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they have a private investor. They've got somebody there that's really invested and has the cash. We really want to try to find somebody that really needs that money and doesn't have a source for it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's step one. We kind of hope to have that completed by the end of this week, and then we have some other pieces of the puzzle to figure out how we're going to get that donation, that giveaway prize system together. So
that's awesome.
I'm hoping realistically maybe by mid-November we'll have some wheels on this thing and can start getting it out there to folks.
That's totally cool. Now, guys, as you guys watch back on this and you see everything as you're popping in, I have their website down below. It's CognativeMTB.com, and it's an awesome site. You guys got some awesome products and everything. But I'm going to go ahead and ask Kevin's original question. He asked, you're in North Carolina, so you got some awesome trails. What's your favorite local trail?
Well, I have to throw this out there because I know Kevin loves this place, but It's not my trail. But we have this new place called Ride Canuga, which is actually a pedal park. So now we have like amazing public trails and a pedal park. And I was one of those people who said I'd never pay to ride because we have 500 miles of trails.
Yeah.
And so we've kind of got everything here now. But I'll say when it comes down to it, I'm probably still going to have to say Black Mountain Trail. Okay. That's a ridgeline trail. It's 9 miles end to end. And I think I'm sure Kevin knows that trail well. It really needs a lot of love. It's actually our adopted trail, so we do work on it. But what I love about it is when you go up to the top, which is if you start at the very bottom, it's a 9-mile climb. When you descend, you've got 9 miles and you've got about 2,600 feet of elevation, including about 1.5 miles of hike a bike. It's just so steep you have to push your bike. But there's this gorgeous overlook where you're looking at Looking Glass Rock. I mean, you're seeing miles and miles this every season of the year. It's absolutely breathtaking. And then you literally have about a 4.5 mile descent with only one small climb. So it's really rough. It's really rowdy. It is definitely an advanced trail, at least the upper section. There's a lower section that's more of an intermediate, but it's just you get the whole experience. You know, you're putting in crazy amount of work to get to the top. Gorgeous views. You're in 4,000 foot plus elevation, so you know the forest around you changes, the smells change. You know, massive views, and then just some of the rowdiest riding around. So
That's awesome.
I still say that's my favorite trail.
That's totally cool. Yeah, little better stuff than up here in or down here in Florida. So that's totally awesome. And you're not too far away, so I'm gonna have to make it up there here soon.
We have a
Um,
lot of folks in Florida that come up here to ride.
oh yeah,
A
oh
lot.
yeah. I'm actually there's a Canuga's doing enduro. I think I talked to you about it. They're doing
Yeah.
the Cranksgiving. I'll probably be there.
Yes.
So
That's right. Awesome, man. I
yeah,
think I'll be in town.
awesome, awesome.
So,
We'll have to hook up. Um,
yeah.
like I said, everybody, his link, Austin, the website's down below. You're giving everybody who watches this a special code to enter in when they order something on their first order. What was that code? I'll put
Yeah,
that
so
down
man,
below
nice
too.
and easy. It's LA20, and that'll give you 20% off your entire order. That actually includes sale items. So if it's on sale, pop it in the cart. It'll give you a discount on it. And the way that works is you can only use it one time. So make sure if you're going to use it, I didn't put a time limit on it. So if you want to wait a week, a month, it's totally fine. Hang on to it. But you can only use it one time. So make sure you get everything you want then.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I appreciate that, man. So yeah, go to the website and get that 20% off when you watch this. So tell me about yourself now. What started you into mountain biking, and what got you to Cognitive?
Yeah, so I spent 15 years in the power sports industry. So before cognitive, and really kind of I should say, excuse me, before I kind of got into mountain biking, I was heavy into racing dirt bikes. A little bit of motocross, but mostly enduros, GNCCs, hair scrambles. I've raced the GNCC down there at the ranch Palmetto routes. Oh my gosh, it's like
It's
riding on
bad,
train
dude.
tracks.
It's bad.
It's ridiculous.
And when
That
it's
place
wet,
wore me out.
when they're wet, dude,
Oh,
they're bad.
it was brutal, man. It was brutal. So I spent 15 years in the industry and raced a lot, rode a lot, was really into bikes, and probably around 2007, 2008, um, I'd had a mountain bike in a long time, had one when I was a kid, but I got a mountain bike, and really kind of started off using it as a training thing, right? Times I couldn't ride my dirt bike, or it was a kind of a cross training thing, and so I had my first kid when I was in 2009, and you have a kid, you sell a dirt bike, right? So my dirt bike time and energy and all that kind of started slowly coming down. But I realized with the mountain bike that it was a lot easier for me to ride. Number one, we had trails closer by. I didn't have to travel as far. I didn't have to pay to ride, and I could really work it into my work week and get more seat time. So by 2011, I got my first like proper, real mountain bike, which was a Santa Cruz Tall Boy 29er, and that was about the time that I really kind of started stepping away from the dirt bike, and it was really a decision. After working in the industry for that long, I'd
Mm-hmm.
say I probably lost a little bit of love for it,
Mm-hmm.
and at the same time, I was kind of rediscovering the outdoors. Started spending more time, camping. Started backpacking. Had been to some high elevation stuff out in Idaho, and really the mountain bike just kind of checked more boxes for me. It's like I was getting my exercise, I was getting my mental health, obviously my physical health, but I was also out in the forest. And then of course it wasn't on a regular basis, but it was just when I'd get together with my buddies and ride. It was a different experience than being on the dirt bike because it's a very social thing. On
Mm-hmm.
the mountain bike, you're talking, you're interacting, versus on a dirt bike that's only happening in between riding. And it just started checking more boxes for me, and I fell in love with it, and kind of I think that because I fell so hard for it, it allowed me to release, you know, thing, which probably would have been harder for me to let that go because it was a really big piece of my identity. At the time, I worked for Fly Racing, which they're in the mountain bike space now. They were just getting into it probably about 3 years before I left. They're a huge motocross, brand. So some of my backstory as far as like apparel and gear and textiles and all that kind of comes from that previous experience working there. But that's kind of how everything transitioned, and that's eventually what led me out here. Was just I came out here for the trails, plain and simple.
That's awesome. What got you? I'm wearing one of your gloves, the gloves I got today. And everybody, sorry about the technical issues we're having, everything with my camera and sound and everything. But what, I've wore other companies' gloves and all that. Uh, Yours just like the phone part works way better than any other glove I've ever worn, and they just feel better. And these are the 2.0s, and I mean I had the first ones, and these are I love that little thing you had showed me originally. Um, that's awesome. What got you? Uh, what changed this? Like what's different about these than compared to the other ones? Why do I like these so much?
Yeah, great question. So I guess like kind of understanding me, I can definitely be a perfectionist,
Yeah.
and I think we've had to adopt at the shop. We've had to adopt the philosophy. When I say we, me, that done beats perfect, right? Because if we're going to wait to put out perfect stuff, we're never going to have any products.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope that we'll never lose the focus of trying to make our products better.
Yeah.
As you kind of start getting into manufacturing and working with factories, you start to learn there's a lot of loopholes when it comes to sustainability and a lot of things that are for instance, screen printing. There's a really sustainable ink, but the process to manufacture the sustainable ink is not sustainable. It's not I shouldn't say sustainable. It's not environmentally friendly. And then you have this ink on a shirt that doesn't last as long, and then you end up throwing the shirt out.
Yeah.
Gloves, one of my intentions has always been the most durable minimalist glove out there.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, why isn't everybody doing that? Well, I'll tell you right now, you literally could start a mountain bike glove company tomorrow, but you would have the same product as everybody else. I mean, you could go out there and find a factory and produce the same glove that copied the same company, that copied the same company, that copied the same company, and you're going to have the same issues that everybody else does. And I think, for me personally, I put that in almost, personal to a degree. And so driving forward when it comes to durability and moving forward, that's why we switched. COVID changed some things with our current factory relationship-wise.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of realized maybe 3 months into gloves that like this was not a long-term relationship that was going to work. If we were going to have quality, if we were going to have durability, but also capability. We were trying to change some things that this factory, our old glove factory, wasn't doing, and we'd wait around for weeks, months to get a prototype, and then have to redevelop that. And so we quickly realized, like, hey, this is a very small factory. It got us started. That's great. Now it's time to go play with the big boys.
Yeah.
And find a factory that has the quality and the capability and the R&D to make changes, but make changes quickly. But we're also not starting with a factory that has not done a lot of things with gloves before.
It's different. It is different, and you've hit detail on them that you don't see in other things, and it feels good too. I love it. I love it. Even like your jersey, like not your jersey, the shirt. I got your shirt here. It's even top quality. I remember I went in. My wife stole it from me. She wanted to keep it and didn't want to give it back. So it's a fantastic stuff. And not just. I mean, I know you're how old? How many years? You're 3 years old.
Yeah, so this
Okay.
December will be 3 years since the
Okay.
company launched.
Okay. And you already have. I mean, you have one of the largest names. And I'm gonna name drop here. You have one of the largest names in the YouTube mountain biking world. You have Seth from now Burn Peak, but then Seth Bike Hacks. You have. How'd you get that? I mean, you don't just call up a guy and say, "Hey, I'm a company. We're starting out."
Yeah.
That's an awesome step.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to be able to work with Seth. And honestly, it was it's a cool story because so Seth had been doing these tours. Red Wolf Tours is a local company, and they do mountain bike tours. They're a mountain bike guide service,
Mm-hmm.
and twice a year, Seth would do a like a 3-day weekend in the spring and in the fall. So and this is still happening, but folks come, we ride, lodging's included. It's an all-inclusive thing. It's a ton of fun. Everybody's gotten to know each other. Everybody's friends. I guided on this trip this past year. Man, it's just a blast. Anyway, I was friends with the owner of Red Wolf, Barrett, and he had a tour coming up. And I said, "Hey, man, you want me to make a shirt for your tour? Like that'd be fun, right? Like we'll do something like Seth's, whatever. Come up with a slogan, use some of our artwork, use some of his artwork, and we started doing shirts for this ride with no intention of like anything else at the time. And of course, again, Cognitive is this really, really small thing. I have a full-time job. At the time didn't even have vision for it being my full-time job. But I through that, Seth and I got to know each other a little bit, and got to see our quality. Just like you mentioned there, see that there was something different about it. And I think as we began to talk, he realized that I took what I did seriously, and I took our name seriously, and I took his name seriously. And it was not a me beating him over the head and this and that. I think we just presented ourselves in a professional manner, and that like maybe we were a little different because we actually cared, and if you look at our website right now, we might be close to 1,700 reviews now. It's over 1,600, grows every day, and we have a 4.8 to 4.9 star average depending on the day.
Yeah.
And it's not about being perfect. It's about when things do go wrong, that you do the right thing, and you start out of the gate with the best product possible. And so I think Seth saw that. He saw that I was a real guy, and we just kind of hit it off. And I joke with him because this past summer we've been working together for almost a year, and we were talking. I said, "So who took the bigger risk, you or me?" Because you took the risk whether or not I could keep up with your brand, your volume, the quality you wanted, and I took the risk of like, hey, can I keep up with this guy's volume? Because at the time it was just me. I was a one-man show, right? And I just decided to stick my foot in my mouth and say, yeah, we can do this. And I'll never forget, man, like if you have a Burn Peak shirt, the coat of arms with drama and the bear on the side, we did that with one of our designers, and we did a pre-order. It was September last year, man. And I had people on deck, and I was hauling boxes of shirts over to people's houses with packing supplies, going, all right, here's the system. Everything's organized. Here's the labels. Who gets what? All right, see you later. And I mean, we were just filling up mail cards all week while I'm working my corporate job. And dude, we executed it like not flawless. We made a few mistakes.
Of course.
But awesome, And
you can't if you're 4.8, getting a 5-star is I don't know if that's even possible for a company like this.
Right.
It shows, and I know I keep saying it, and I've told you over and over again for as long as we've been talking. I love your stuff. It's top notch.
I appreciate that.
I have other companies' gloves, and my dog's barking at me. I have other people's gloves, and it just doesn't match up to it. I got to get some of your jerseys. But
the other thing too is, man, like we ride a lot. I mean, I'm on my bike on average 4 days a week, and I mean I'm over 2,000 miles this year, over 250,000 feet of elevation gain. Like I ride a lot. I love to ride my bike, and all of us that are involved in it, whether it's our ambassadors or our employees, like everybody rides. And so we're using this stuff, and I think it really helps, when you're not just leading, but you're also the end user. And you're going, well, man, I don't like this because of that, or I want to change this because of that. And we're just, honestly, those reviews, I read every single one. If you've left a review, I've read every single review because we want to hear from folks. We want to know, sometimes people will leave a 5-star review and say, well, I wish the swiper material on the glove was a little softer. But you notice the new stuff's like, you just want to sit there and just rub it on your face, it's actually softer and more durable, which I know is kind of almost like an oxymoron. But
Can I rub my face with it?
please do show folks what it's like.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the epiphany of softness.
That's right.
Smooth as a baby's bottom. Never rubbed a baby's bottom on my face before, but that's as close as I've gotten to it.
Somebody did that somewhere.
That's totally cool. Well, what do you guys have? What do you have planned for the future? Where do you see Cognitive going to?
Yeah,
because you're just starting out. You're still in the infant stage of your business.
We really are. Yeah, we really are. So again, and I guess this kind of goes back to my philosophy, and fortunately, our team is we're all very like-minded when it comes to this. Like, we're never going to be a company that builds junk. Okay. It's just not what we're going to do. At the same time, we don't want to be a high-end company that is the highest priced, unobtainable, right? So we want to find this middle ground where we can build quality products that are going to last, and we want it to be obtainable for everybody, right?
Yeah. That's something else I've noticed. I'm cutting you off, but your prices are amazing. Like, you could charge so much more for that, and they're completely reasonable and affordable.
Yeah,
it's totally awesome.
And that is a conscious decision, and honestly, too, my background for 15 years, part of that was power sports, part of that was another industry. I worked with small businesses, consulting with owners and all that. So I'd like to think I can maybe avoid some of those mistakes that I've seen others make. So we can hopefully invest in the company and do the right thing. And part of that, I feel like, is putting out the best product for the right money. So the first answer to your question is refinement, right? We're always looking to make everything a little bit better. So you're going to constantly see refinement. The big project we're working on right now, and we've been working on it for a long time, and we're taking our time, is shorts. Our customers keep asking, like, man, I love your stuff. Why don't you have shorts? I need shorts. I want your shorts. And I'm like,
that's a hard thing.
There are so many bad shorts on the market.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be another bad short.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I agree.
Doesn't need another bad fitting short.
I agree completely.
So, we are working through that, but we're just taking our time. We're trying to get that right. We know it's not going to be perfect out of the gate, but we want to be much closer to that, fitting more people, correctly, and not just put a product out there that's like everybody else's. Shorts are a pain in the butt, pun intended. It is, like, by far the most difficult thing so far that we've been working on. But it's because you think, like, oh, it's easy. Like, how long do you want them to be? What's the inseam? What's the leg opening? And then you get a sample and you've got, like, saggy butt in the shorts, right? You got all, like, well, how do we fix that?
Yeah. Suggestion for you on the shorts.
Yeah, please.
The back zipper that everybody seems to put, where you can put your keys and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Maybe it's just my butt is different shaped. The wife says she likes my butt, but I don't. It might be different. I always seem to get everything stuck under my seat. Like, I sit on everything I put in that back pocket. I don't know.
Is this a side pocket or a back?
No, the back tailbone pocket. Like, I have a pair of Elite shorts that I really, really love, but I can't put anything in that back pocket because I'm always end up sitting in it. If I bring a chapstick or something like that, I feel like chapstick's going down my crack, and I don't really like that. So
it's distracting. Right?
Just my little 2 cents out there on my shows for you.
And if anybody's got any input, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear it. One of the things that we found through testing and analyzing and looking at different things is the best place for a cell phone pocket or something that's going to have weight is on the hip and high up.
Yeah.
The lower, the more it moves around, right? You get the more motion you have. The high, it's kind of like a pendulum. The higher up, the less motion you have.
Yeah.
And what we're trying to do with our shorts too is they're going to be a performance material, 100%. They are ride specific, but we're trying to make them not feel out of place if you want to throw those shorts on and go out to dinner. You're going to spend a lot of money on a good pair of shorts. We feel like a good mountain bike trail short should kind of be a dual purpose, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to sacrifice anything when it comes to performance or comfort on the bike, but we're trying to make it, you know, for instance, we're going to have 2 drop-in pockets on the front. Those zippers just drop regular pockets, you know, place to throw your keys, wallet, whatever, when you get to riding, before you're riding, like kind of blend that line of casual and riding with the material performance.
Do you kind of count yourself as, you know, a lot of like Fly and Leet and all these other companies are more of that, I don't know how to put it. They're kind of more of aggressive, downhill kind of look. Your guys' looks are more upkept, higher class, it seems like. More of the Pearl Izumi or whatever you call them kind of look. Just a slicker, nicer look. I kind of like that. Is that what you think you guys are, or is that what you're going for?
Absolutely. I mean, we're not probably the brand for the hardcore racer. You know, that's not our market. I mean, and if you kind of look at like how we ride and what we do, I mean, we have some people that are serious, you know, racers and whatnot, but you know, for the most part, we're pretty passionate about riding and riding with friends and just having a good time. And like community is a word we use a lot because most of us find a lot of our community coming from that circle of friends we ride with and people that we, you know, people that we see and spend time with every week. So versus kind of, you know, that I call it kind of the downhill racer side of things, right? Motocross, you know, they're basically motocross pants. I mean, it's a motocross jersey, motocross pants. Will we ever get into that? I don't know. We don't have plans for that right now. We're going to do a long sleeve jersey for a little bit later this year. More of a temperature thing than a race thing, but it's going to be a good piece for people that are racing, you know, downhill. But yeah, I don't see us. That's not on the immediate like future plans to get into.
That's cool. Hey, that's it's a more of, like you said, you going out to eat and you know, chill with it. That's totally cool. Back to you now, Mr. Founder of CognativeMTB. I see some bikes back there. What are you guys? What are you riding? What are you riding personally?
The beautiful thing about this is you can see my bikes because Cognitive used to be in this garage. I have my garage. Yeah, it's amazing. So my number one bike is my Norco Sight. It's a 2019, and I love that bike. It's a 150 front, 130 rear, I think, and it's like it's that perfect middle ground. I'm one of those weird people that likes to do a lot of climbing. Not that I like the climbing, but you know, I probably do 6,000 to 8,000 feet a week, and I'm cool with that because of the payoff I get, right?
Yeah.
And so that bike is just a perfect middle road of being really efficient climbing, but really aggressive downhill. I fit that bike so well. Unfortunately, Norco actually changed it for 2020, and it's got more travel, which was just kind of like, for what I do, I don't want to get rid of that thing right now, you know? Like it's perfect. So that's my main bike. My other one over here is a Canefield Nimble 9. It's a steel frame 29er single speed. So if you really want to punish yourself in the mountains,
jeez,
you just
dude.
And
We got. I'm a part of a gravel riding group, and there's one dude in there, just one single dude who's the single speeder, and everybody makes fun of him.
Yep.
You're just asking for pain.
Yeah, you're asking for pain. Yeah. So first of all, it's my backup bike. This one I blew up the rear wheel, which by the way, Industry 9 with another local company. I didn't even ask for help. I went in there and said, I don't know if it's your fault or my fault. They like replaced everything and didn't charge me.
That's awesome.
Can't say that about customer
Well,
service.
I would hope so. The amount of money you pay for their stuff, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I wasn't like, hey, I'm from Cognitive. Like, you know, I was just a guy that walked in and they took care of me. It was awesome. I got I9s on both bikes, but yeah. So this thing is super fun. I typically only ride it. I did ride it at Canuga when this one was blown out. I didn't have a choice. I rode that at Canuga. I typically ride this at DuPont. This is kind of my DuPont bike.
Okay.
And you take a place like DuPont, which is, you know, not as technical, more flowy. It changes the experience. And it's a super simple bike. It's super lightweight. I really like the steel frame. and I don't have to worry about anything breaking or,
Mm-hmm.
it simplifies everything. But I will say, I like to go fast, right? Like when I ride, I like to go fast downhill. It's not the same on a hardtail, it's just not the same. So when I start riding that a lot, I quickly go back to my full suspension.
Of course.
And yeah. And so my third bike is the one up against the door back there, which is a Niner RLT gravel bike.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Gravel bike. And I had a gravel bike for a couple years, and I literally bought it like $500, just for when it rains, can't get to the trail, whatever. And I never rode it. And all of a sudden, my buddy showed me where I could ride from my house and get away from cars, big views, gravel roads. And man, I can't believe how much fun I'm having on it because I'm able to ride more.
Yeah.
Probably a third of my miles are on that bike. It's just especially with a young family and working like crazy. I'm able to throw some more miles on, and I've ridden it on some single track.
Yeah.
And it's a blast.
I have yet to do that. I take my gravel bike out almost every morning to get some miles in and everything. I've never taken on single track yet. I'm scared to.
Yeah, it's fun. You got to pick different lines and you go slower. But that's a great bike, man. It's really comfortable, and I've been really happy with it.
Oh, that's totally cool. Now, single track and gravel bike. I mean, what's the hardest place you've taken that thing down? Yeah.
So I wasn't planning on this. Kind of. I was doing some trail work in DuPont. We had to be at the parking area at 8:30. So I got there. I'm an early morning rider for the most part. I get up 5 to 5:30 and get out early. That way I can get a full day of work in. And so I got there about 7 o'clock, and I had this like 15-mile loop, and it was a little over it was right around 2,000 feet of climbing. And anyway, I was on Joanna Road in DuPont, and I'd never been past this one intersection, and it just turned into Chunky Rock. And I was going uphill, so you're going pretty slow. I had to push a couple creek crossings. Wasn't too bad. Well, I hit this gravel road to loop back to the parking area, and all of a sudden I look at my watch, and I'm like, crap, like, I need to be on the other side of this mountain in 10 minutes, and I was planning on taking gravel road to paved road around. I was like, well, I don't have a choice. So I cut Buck Forest Road, which is a gravel road in DuPont, and then I came down Jim Branch on it. And, man, it was a blast, man, because I was, like, pushing hard. I didn't want to be late. There was a big group coming. I didn't want to be that guy. And man, that's probably the most aggressive trail I've had it on. Which it's one of those things. If you just pick your lines,
Yeah.
slow down if you need to, and
Jeez, bro.
try to hop over little roots and stuff. It was a lot of fun.
That's nuts. Blessed times 3 is asking, how long have you been in business? We answered. You said you've been about this December will be 3 years. You said that, correct?
3 years. Yeah. It was about 6 months. 6 to 8 months in the background, kind of getting things ready, design, and all that before we launched.
Do you ever think you'd be here with this? I mean, this is your job now, right?
This is my job now.
Yeah.
Yeah, full time. We have, including myself, we have 5 team members. So
Wow.
there's 5 of us. The shop is like 2 miles away, which is awesome. Super convenient. No, I didn't. I mean, and it's funny. My wife and I joke because like she's always made fun of my style,
Yeah.
Like, just from like clothing, and like, there's no way in a million years, 5 years ago, like any of us would have guessed that I'd have a clothing company.
Yep.
Probably the last thing we would have guessed.
Was everybody supportive and everything?
Yeah,
Family?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was hard, especially when things started getting serious, working a full-time job and doing this on the side, and it was definitely a strain on all of my relationships, trying to balance everything. But yeah, we still find humor in the fact that I have a clothing company.
Yeah. You're what do you call yourself then? What are you? Well, obviously a entrepreneur, but business owner. But are you just a clothing guy? I sell clothes.
Yeah, clothing guy, right?
I sell clothes.
Make things for people to wear. Well,
That's awesome.
I'm like most happy in a t-shirt and a hat, so it's perfect, right?
Yeah, same here. Yeah, same here. And I'm a businessman, so I have to dress up, and it's always good to come home to, like, when I got this yesterday, and I wanted to wear this so bad because I put it on just to dance for the wife and make her,
Right.
yeah, I got a hot husband, But this is the most comfortable thing I have now. This is like amazing.
Awesome.
It's almost as comfy as my underwear that I'm wearing. So,
Perfect.
it matches. But that's totally cool. So tell me about the. I like to ask people about their logos and everything. Sometimes, where'd you come up with? Obviously, I mean, it's mountains and mountain biking. But it's share the ride, share the journey. Where'd you come up with that?
Yeah, so we've actually kind of rebranded that a little bit, and
Mm-hmm.
we're still kind of working on which direction we're going to take it. But share the ride, share the journey was really kind of about that feeling like if you've ever been out on a ride, right, and you did this epic ride, and you came home, you came back to wherever you came from, and you just felt so filled up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Call it stoked, call it happiness,
Yeah.
call it your cup is full, whatever, right? And really that share the ride, share the journey came from like talking about that, right? We want other people to experience that. We want people to talk about it, and we want to invite other people on the journey with us. So that's really kind of where that came from. It's just like, hey man, this experience does so much for us, and we want other people to experience it. We want to talk about it. We want other people to talk about it too.
That's totally cool. So, what races do you guys have? I know you're one of the sponsors at the last race I did, the Bigfoot
Yeah.
Enduro. Are you one of the sponsors at the Ride Canuga, the Cranksgiving?
Not officially yet.
Okay.
Honestly, we've not done a lot of race stuff yet.
Yeah.
We're trying to be real intentional where, money's money, right? Funds
Yeah,
are fun,
yeah.
really, especially
Yeah.
is a small company, but growing really fast. So not really sure what that's going to look like, honestly. Like what, a lot of things we'll do. If we say yes, it's like, all right, this is a test. Let's see, like, does this help? And especially not being able to be there. It's one thing when you can set up a tent, talk to people, sell product, talk about product. You get a lot more impact that way than just, being a sponsor in a free sense. So that strategy, honestly, is completely up in the air right now. It is a case-by-case basis.
That's crazy. That's cool. Do you plan on sticking to just MTB, mountain biking stuff, or do you think you ever go further?
The new tagline that we're kind of running with, and I'll tell you why I did this. We took the MTB and broke it down. So now it stands for Mountains, Trails, Bikes. And I'd be in an event, somebody would come up, and they'd love the DuPont shirt, and it was pretty obvious they weren't a mountain biker. And they'd be like, "What does the MTB stand for?" And I'd be like, I don't want to tell you because you're not going to want to buy it." So we kind of started thinking, like, we need to come up with something for that. That's a little bit more inclusive and not so exclusive, because most of us hike. We do other things outdoors. We have no plans right now to get out of the MTB space.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But what we do want is we want our brand to be a little bit more inclusive to outdoor recreation in general.
Yeah.
Especially kind of like mountain outdoor recreation. But there's no plans to develop products that are not centric to mountain biking or even gravel. Like, so, talked about what's next. If we can get stuff back from the photographer in time, we have a zip jersey, a zip 3-pocket jersey line coming out maybe this next Sunday. So we have the product. It's just a matter of the pieces of the puzzle to get all the product pages built in the photography. So if people are interested in those, that's something you'll see really soon.
Very cool. Yes.
Yeah.
I might have to grab one of those.
But yeah, honestly, we're not planning on getting outside of that kind of mountain biking, adventure cycling space right now.
Yeah.
I think about it all the time, but
I don't know of any. I mean, are there any other? I mean, you got. How do you say? Is it Pearl Izumi?
Yeah.
Okay.
I say Izumi.
Izumi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
They do a little bit of road cycling stuff.
They do. Yeah.
There's really not that I can think of anybody that does it.
So I think Dakine is like probably the one that's done the best with like multi sports.
Yeah.
They've got surfing and they've got all these different things, but I really, some of our products are going to cross over to road, right? A zip jersey, 3 pockets. We're actually testing some bib shorts right now. So we'll have and all that. But road cycling is just such a different space. That's not even on our radar. That's just not our thing. You know, even though I ride that bike on the road sometimes, it's just different. You know, it's just not our thing. And we really want to focus into what we're passionate about and stay in our lane. And but you know, I think what you'll see. So we just launched our jacket line. What is today? Thursday night. And so we came out with 2 products out of the gate. We came out with a down jacket for men and women, and we came out with a soft shell quilted front jacket. The soft shell quilted front jacket, it's one of my favorite casual jackets, but it's a really intentional on the bike cold weather piece.
Yeah.
Whereas the down jackets are a casual piece. So kind of in that same philosophy, why the heck are you guys making down jackets? Who rides in a down jacket? Well, only people that ride in crazy cold climates. But really what we were trying to do is fill in that gap of when you're not on the bike. And, you know, really kind of the conversation is like, why are we wearing jackets from climbing companies? You know, we're not climbers. I wish I was a rock climber. I'd love to be able to do that, but we're not. You know, like we're not big hikers. We're not like we're cyclists. Let's fill in, you know, let's make products, you know, for ourselves that ends up being for everybody else too. So as far as like evolving, I think you'll see more things that are built and made to be off the bike, but still kind of that feeling of identity as a mountain biker, as a cyclist.
That's awesome. Where you guys are in North Carolina, where you say over by DuPont?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So I live in Hendersonville. Technically, the address for the shop is Horseshoe.
Okay.
Which is Horseshoe. Where's that? It's 5 miles west of Hendersonville.
Yeah, Hendersonville. You're right there next to Canoga. That's like not fair.
Like 8 miles, man. It's my closest place to ride now.
I think my wife is watching this, so that, honey, if we ever plan on moving, I'd like to move to this area. Let's see. A Backyard Shredder is asking, what's the best way to yeah, I guess it's kind of a hard question because your channel, you have a YouTube channel, but you're not really doing anything with it. He's asking, what's the best way to start selling merch for a channel my size, but with low overhead startup cost? How'd you get into it? Like, what was your startup for people that wanted to just make T-shirts or something like that, like you did? Sure. What did you do? How'd you get into it?
Yeah, you have 2 options, right? You can do print on demand, which almost everybody starts out with, or you can do lots of money and print and own your inventory. And so part of my process before starting Cognitive was testing. We test everything. And, I bought some print on demand shirts, and honestly, we weren't happy with the quality. And the long-term vision as a brand, there's just not enough margin in there for growth. And, because print on demand, obviously you're doing low volume, they're going to take a massive cut of it.
Yeah.
Issues. There's a reason why, we're picking up, more business. We've got some more YouTube folks that everybody knows that are going to be coming on later this year or next year. But really, I would recommend 2 things. One, depending on what you think your potential volume would be, is by all means, print on demand is a great way to start because it doesn't cost you anything except the design, right? You can go get a logo made. You can make a website basically on Teespring with your collections.
Yeah.
On anything doesn't cost you anything until you sell something. So it is a fantastic way to start if you're really small. The other option is go find a local screen printer. Get on Google Maps, search screen printing, go to a local screen printer and interview them. Like, don't just go to the first one. You'll probably have a couple in town. I recommend finding somebody that has a real process in place. Sometimes screen printers are just, not very professional. Find somebody that's got a process, that has a salesperson and a production person and in-house art. And then just start talking to them, tell them what you're interested in. I'm always going to recommend using a poly cotton blend shirt. Don't use 100% cotton. If you're gonna be active in it, sweat in it or anything, you always want some poly in there just for its performance. Tell them you want a decent price poly cotton shirt, and start with some pricing. You're gonna have an investment because it sounds I only need 12 shirts. Well, not if you're gonna carry small through 2X sizing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
that barely gives you 2 of each. So it can get expensive fast. I mean, um, as far as design, man, you want to talk about like a range, like you can get a logo made for $20 or $2,000. So you really kind of figure out what your budget is, and then there's a lot of good sites out there that you can find people doing logos for. Upwork is one, Fiverr's one, so you can really kind of start with a low investment and kind of go from there. And it's don't ever be afraid of starting small and waiting till things get bigger. You can always rebrand. You can always change your logo later. You can always update it. Just the best thing to do is just start.
Yeah.
Just start.
Well, that's awesome. Well, dude, we're gonna go ahead and cut it here. I thank you so much, dude, for coming on and
Yeah, you're welcome.
being on the show. And thank you everybody for watching. Like I said, for the people who just came on, Austin has put a discount. It's LA for Lifted Adventures. It's LA 20 on your checkout. So it's your first order, you get 20% off. So make sure you order tons and tons and tons of gear because he gives back to the local trails, and which is totally awesome. That's like the coolest thing about you guys doing that. Anything new that you want people to know about Cognitive before we end?
Man, I'll just say 2 things. First off, like, just want to encourage you, if you live in an area that has a public trail system, I understand some areas are private or they're county owned. They don't need any help. They've got funding. But if you've got public land, get involved. Just join your local chapter, SORBA, whatever it is. Most of those are less than $50 a year. And just have a voice, have a say in what's going on. Because believe it or not everybody likes mountain bikers.
Yep. No.
Right?
Yeah, dude. No, yeah.
And hopefully by joining, you'll learn too. You'll learn about what's important. Maybe you'll learn about some things that you can do to help user interaction, so people like more mountain bikers better. So I'd encourage you to do that first. Second thing is hop on the website. There should be a little pop-up window to subscribe to our email list. Even if you don't want to buy anything today, get on there, because we typically only email once a week, maybe twice. We don't email you for no reason. It's either a special, in most cases it's a new product launch. So at least get yourself on the email list and you'll see everything that comes out that's new. And anytime we do have a special on something, you'll be able to see that as well.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate it again, man. And everybody, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe this video. Get the Cognitive MTB even out there even more than they already are. I appreciate it, man. Again, Austin, it's been awesome to have you on here, and hopefully we can get some new people who have never heard of you to your website and order some. I mean, I love my gloves. I'll show every single person I can to wear these. So, but I appreciate it, guys. I say every single time, guys, make sure you lift up God, lift up life, lift up the adventure, get out there, make your own adventures. Go and check out the website at CognitiveMTB.com, and I will see you guys next time on Jeremy's Pedal Power Hour. Awesome. Cool beans, man.